Hey everybody, it is Justin, your guide into the Forgotten Runiverse. And, we're all wondering, when is it gonna be? I know that's a question on all your minds. I know Dota has been posting about it for the past week or so, and I feel like we're on the cusp. I feel like it's just around the corner. And yeah, it's probably the last week of the Arbitrum Arcade. So if you guys don't know what the Arbitrum Arcade is, it's a showcase of a lot of games on the Arbitrum chain, which includes the Forgotten Runiverse, and we did just conclude Chapter 5. So again, at Chapter 6, we did just get that peak. It's going to be Kuro Beast, Mighty Action Heroes, and Play Bitmates. But that leaves 1 week the week of the 22nd, for which is Chapter 7 for the Forgotten Runiverse. That's where I would make my guess. There's no other week. So what does that entail? So I did make a thread about a month ago, kind of going over the new Foundations trailer that we got from the Runiverse game. And of course, if you guys need a quick primer, I'll just go through it right now. So again, there's going to be city exploration in the Blue Wizard Bastion, as well as, customizing your houses. We'll talk about that in just a second. But again, there's more monsters, there's more crafting, there's more spells, there's different types of builds too. I don't get into spoiler land, so you'll just have to wait. So we'll all just have to wait. But again, I did watch the trailer. I'll have that in the description below. But of course, we got more lore updates on what the Blue Wizard Bastion is gonna look like. Obviously, really nice to take a look at. And of course, the housing. Right. So this kind of goes into the next section I want to talk about, which is land, right? What can we do in this build with land? And of course, you can build your houses, and I would say you'll be able to place them inside of the game. If you do have land, from the prior builds, I know a lot of you guys either got settlements, you got homesteads. A lot of you guys got we got a lot of homesteads. Some people even got villages, and I forgot what the other land size was, but we'll get to that at some point in the future. But okay, in the build, the quality of life updates were very nice. Of course, we got a journal, we got a couple other things too. But again, Dota did highlight this in his thread back in March, of which I would say city like having a house inside in the Runiverse, right? You can customize it however you want. There are a lot of layer styles too, so again, you'll be able to have something unique. And again, the colors kind of differentiate based on the resources and materials that you collect around the Runiverse to make it. So that's pretty cool as well. So that brings me into my next topic: land. What are the uses of land outside of just building a house? And that's an interesting question. We'll get into that in just a second. But I also wanted to say, if you want to get any updates on the Forgotten Runiverse, the Runiverse game has a huge library of stuff inside of the media posts here. I always scroll through the media tab here under the the Forgotten Runiverse account. What was I actually looking at? What was the topic I want to talk about? I wanted to talk about the city districts, right? If you have a piece of land, it's probably going to get revealed at some section of the map. And again, this first tranche of land is probably going to be we'll see where everything lands. Is everything going to be inside of cities? Are some going to be outside of cities and like the Forgotten Runiverse map? We'll have to see. But outside of that, building inside of the districts are going to be fun. This portion, this peak that we got from the Runiverse game is from Garden Noah. So this is the green wizard this is the green wizard city, right? The one that's inside of the build is the Blue Wizard Bastion. So again, it's going to be important to kind of see which city, which aesthetic you appeal to, right? What is your wizard? what build specialization do you want to go into? Those cities are going to probably be important for you in that regard. Oh yeah, player progression. We'll get into that in just a second when we take a look at the white paper in this video. So what else? Oh, I wanted to also talk about the Watcher's Ring. So if we're talking about land, are lands NFTs? Yes, they are. So again, if you have a Watcher's Ring, prior to this, I think it already used land. I'm not sure whether we're gonna. Okay, we'll just have to see. But again, if you do have a Watcher's Ring, there are a couple benefits to that. You will have land sale priority. So again, it kind of puts you in that same window for minting land if there is a land sale, equivalent to wizards and stuff like that. So again, there's also exclusive ring specific titles, so you can identify yourself by the ring that you hold. There's also Watcher cosmetics, as well as secret tower access and bonus in-game mana and future early supporter benefits. So full disclosure, I do have about 4 rings or so. I may downsize just because I don't think I can utilize all of the rings for the land itself, right? I might have to do some recycling. We got we just did our taxes. I hope you guys did your taxes. But anyways, we'll move on from the Watcher's Ring if you guys want to use that for the land sale prior. I just wanted to bring that up, just in case you wanted to use it. But outside of that, what are we building towards in this vertical slice, right? So we're slated to have a couple of vertical slices within 2024 to build closer to the early access alpha and beta, and eventually the full release live service of the Forgotten Runiverse, right? Open world MMORPG with the Forgotten Runes inside of it, right? So again, currently what we're just seeing is an expansion of the prior build, right? We're seeing a lot more things with regards to, content scope. We're seeing, just one city this time. So we're slowly moving up towards those 4 initial cities. I believe that's red, blue, green, and yellow. Yeah, I think that's right. So, yeah, again, we're going to be moving towards that, level cap, moving up, especially as we see the early access alpha. And then, we're seeing more recipes as well, more enemies to fight, more spells and stuff like that. So, of course, I'm gonna transition over to the sections of the white paper about land uses. So, if you participate in the land sale, if you did, I can't say whether it's going to go up or down. I just wanted to talk about it in the context of the game. So, what can we use for land outside of what we saw in the previous posts? As personal expression and utility for houses, we'll go over that first. So these buildings allow players to store items and express themselves through customization and decoration. So outside of that, what else is there, right? So when inside the Runiverse, each plot of land has resource distribution, right, that you can mine, right, or you can gather. And if you build a gathering station on top, you'll be able to use that to extract materials from your plot reserve, right? And then you can use those materials to, craft them. You can craft items or equipment or weapons at service buildings, right? So that kind of moves in this circular fashion here. Gathering stations, you get your materials. And then if you also have land, you can build service buildings on top of them, which, whether that's a temple, whether that's, a forge, whether that's, a mage crystal building, essentially, where you can craft those crystals, you can cast spells and stuff to be a wizard. These are specialized buildings that are vital to item creation, player progression, and trading purposes, right? Oh yeah, there's also a building where you can upgrade your wizard and specialize it into a specific section of magic. So again, that's important for player progression. So, and again, if you have a bigger parcel, I think some of those are able to sustain like things like guild halls, right? And these are upgradable buildings, for socialization, commerce, while granting their members special benefits. So if you have a guild and you're looking to, accumulate a lot of resources as well as, facilitate commerce, then those guild halls will be important for that. And I believe also on those larger plots, there are city stones too. City stones, in the first couple builds that we've been seeing, these are critical to fast traveling from one place to another, right? And again, in these first couple instances of the gameplay builds, we're seeing that a lot of travel type is still going to be instanced, right? So a lot of these are just going to be facilitated by those travel stones. But as we move into the open world version of the game, right, when we go into beta and eventually the full release, then it's going to be, you got to travel with mounts if you don't have access to a teleportation stone, right? A city stone, right? So again, if you have a large plot, then, perhaps building a city stone near points of interest like dungeons, that might be important to you if you have a parcel of land that can sustain that type of activity, right? So again, that's my recap of the land uses inside of the Runiverse. But outside of that, what else is there? I got 3 tabs here, so might as well take a look, right? So again, gameplay is pretty simple, right? You go explore stuff. You go explore. Basically, I'm not going to go into the depths of this essentially, but these are how they overlap. The combat loop, you go fight monsters. You collect their spiritual materials because in order to craft items, you need physical materials, right? You need to go mine or go gather rare resources from faraway lands in the Runiverse, and then you got to go fight those enemies there too, and then you got to go back to your land and then go to those buildings and specific upgraded buildings and put them together so you can get better items, right? So again, cities are going to be important because I know I had I know I had I can't talk. I know I had another tab here that kind of went over this, but this is kind of what combat looks like. We'll take a look at this more as we play the game. I'll probably get some more B-roll and show some more gameplay here. But I really wanted to go over to this player progression detail, right? Because as the game expands, right, as the game expands from the gameplay demo through the alpha, the beta, the live service, one of the important things about the game is that the level cap is going to increase. And you might be asking a question, why should I care about that? Because when you're leveling your wizard, that level cap is going to factor in very heavily to the way that your wizard evolves over time, right? So below you can find a diagram explaining the different stages of player progression and how they relate to service buildings, specifically mage halls on plots. So again, this ties back to the overarching land question, right? So what can you do with your land, right? And the building called the mage hall is where you can specialize your wizard. And once you hit that level cap of 15, there's no... so most of us that we've seen thus far, well, the majority of us actually, are novice wizards, right? There's no specialization, can only use basic abilities. But as the game expands, you'll need a Mage Hall Tier 1, which can be public or player-owned. So again, those cities that have public, Mage Halls are going to be important to utilize to specialize into a High Wizard, which allows you to go access level 16 through 30, which allows you to get one specialization of which we have not seen any of yet, which is kind of exciting. And you can use basic and high abilities. So we don't necessarily know what high abilities are. And then as we move deeper towards those even higher level caps, like level 30 to level 45, level 31 to 45, level 46 to 50, you get things like Heart Wizards and Soul Wizards, where you can have two specializations, basic, high, and heart abilities. And then there's also things like basic, high, heart, and soul abilities, right? So in order to move up this progression stepping, you'll need a higher tier Mage Hall, which can only be built on player-owned plots of land, right? So having access to those specific color type Mage Halls are going to be important, especially if you have a specific type of build. So again, that's going to be important as we progress through the game. Of course, we're just kind of delving into the theory craft and once we get to that section of the Runiverse. But again, we're still just in the vertical slices. So again, I just wanted to kind of go over that, provide some context. And, if you wanted to pick up some land, by all means, we'll just have to see if we can grind that out in this part of the, what's it called? New Foundations build, right? So by all means, that's just all I got for today. I wanted to, just recap all of the Runiverse updates as well as, when we can see it. But again, it's going to be awesome. So you guys know what to do. Hit that like and subscribe button. Always enjoy creating this content. And I'll have all the links in the description. So I'll see you guys in the Runiverse. Peace.